Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Moonflower Studio Creative. Today, I'm going to show you how I do a portrait in watercolor. I really appreciate you being here, and if you like my content, I would love it if you would subscribe and write a nice comment below and get notifications so you can see all my videos when they are uploaded. I did an initial drawing of this girl in pencil, and then I went over it with my kneaded eraser to just like make it a little bit more dull because we are doing watercolor. And the mixture for the skin tone is actually a opera red and maybe a crimson that I put in there. And then I found like a nice green color that I have. It might be like a sap green. And so those two colors together, when you mix them together on the palette, you could see they're making like a brownish skin tone. And you would never think that a green and a pink color like that would make a beautiful skin tone. And I'm just putting more water in it to make it lighter. And then I'm just making it a little bit more thick to do my darker tones. And then for the cheeks, while it's wet, I'm going to just drop in a little bit of that pink and just kind of push it around a little bit to where I want it so that it is in the right place. And everything is slightly damp. And now I'm going back into the eye area, and everywhere there's a shadow, I am adding some darker concentration of this color. I'm really not using a lot of colors at all in this illustration. I'm using that pink. I'm using sort of a yellow ochre color, and my mixture, I might go use some blue. Right now I'm adding green to the eyes, and my brush is a velvet brush, and it is a number 6, I believe, and it is able to make quite a point on it. It's a round brush, and yeah, I believe it's a 6. And I really like it because it does make a very pointy point. So I could do a thicker stroke and I could do tiny little strokes. I'm leaving the white of the paper there on the lips as I paint in the color. And I'm just building the colors up from a lighter color to a darker color. And that's how you usually use watercolors. You start with a lighter wash and then you add different glazes on top of it to make the colors darker and stand out more. Some people like to work their paintings like one section at a time and finish it, and I don't work that way because I feel that if you work the whole painting, you can better see the relationships between each element on your painting that way, whether it needs to be darker, lighter, more in detail, less in detail. So when you finish off one section, like I'll just do the whole eye, let's say, I don't know how that's going to relate to the rest of the painting. It's going to set the tone for the rest of the painting, that's for sure. So if you made it so detailed, now the whole painting's got to be really detailed, unless you're going to have this one eye sticking out. So you know what I mean? But everybody's got their own style and the way to work. So that's the way I work. I'm adding some shadows here under the jawline and on the neck. And then I'm just going to go and do the same mixture on all the skin of her back. Her shirt is down lower. It's like an off the shoulder look. They're kind of Victorian. I was kind of going for a Celtic kind of a Valentine-y look for this girl. She's sort of Alphonse Mucha I was thinking of, and Victorian era maybe, and all those things together. And that was my inspiration for this illustration. So now that the skin is in, I'm going to start working on the hair tone. I'm going to start with a lighter, auburn color. It is that same red that I was using there with a little bit of yellow ochre, and I could add a teeny bit of blue to it to just get that tone. It's red hair, it's beautiful color, and we're just going to start with a lighter mixture, and we're going to variegate it in a lot of ways. I'm adding some shadow areas already under where all the flowers are in her hair, and I'm just going to go down each strand and just block in that color the best I can. And we'll gradually add more color to this and more values to it, I would say, and add some fine lines in the end to bring out each strand of the hair. On the left side there, I'm adding some shadow to her neck, but then I'm going to start adding that under shadow to the hair. So it looks like it's, kind of under her, it's on the left side of her face, and the light's going to be hitting it from the side. And so that's going to be really dark on that side of the face. It's also going to help bring her face out more and just pop her face out more. I do love right now how the color of the hair being added is makes the painting look quite different already. So it's not just this floating head. Now it's got some substance, and it looks quite pretty, the colors together. And the green of her eyes and the red of her hair, they're complements, so it sparkles more. So I always think about these things as I'm working on my illustration. I'm really letting the hair dry and go back into the crown and start painting in the leaves and everything that's sort of in the back of the flowers, so that I'm not like painting into it later. I want to just kind of get some things in there and just gradually just keep building things up. Now I'm adding another layer of the auburn color into her hair. It's a little bit thicker this time, and I'm just trying to get a feel and a way to make the hair look like it's flowing and growing. And this is going to be worked on quite a bit until the end of the painting. looks like I got another kind of a brown in there. I added more blue to it, or probably an ultramarine blue, and or a sepia color you can use, a burnt umber color, and just make more of the shadows start sticking out. You really want to have a lot of contrast in the hair so that it looks like hair. And I just keep building up my line work and my strokes. They're all going in the same direction as the growth of the hair, and you want to try to get some highlights in there and some low lights in there, just as you would when you're getting your hair done, girls. So I'm just going to let you watch the rest of this while I keep doing the same thing I was talking about before. So I'm just going to go in and gradually build up my darks and my lights, mostly my darks because it's going to make the lights pop out more, and being very careful about that. And then I'm going to add some flowers shapes in there and just build up my flowers in the hair. And then finally, we're just going to do the line work and the detailed work of everything. So the detail is mostly at the end. Now I start putting in little lines here around the flowers because I want to kind of bring out those shapes of the flowers. And I'm just working the whole entire image as best as I can, leaving whites where I think that I should, because the whites make the painting sparkle as a whole. And I have to do around her necklace over there. And I will add shadows, light shadows underneath wherever I think there should be shadows. So here I'm adding some form to my roses, and I'll play with those for a while. I'm never usually happy, but I do know that this is a small painting. You can see her face is smaller than my hand in this illustration. I think the next time I do an illustration like this, it's going to be twice as big, because this way you can go in and really take care on the shapes and forms because you have more room to do it. And like her eyes, they're so tiny. I'm so glad that my brush gets into that tiny, tiny point so I can do her lashes and everything. But I found it really kind of difficult to get this to be as good as it came out, considering it is such a small illustration. So I feel like I wasn't happy with the way the roses were coming out, and I'm not going to stress about it. I just painted over them because it's still wet, and I kind of started over. So I'm just going to do it all over again, and until I'm happy with the way it comes out. And a lot of people stress out about watercolor, thinking it's not repairable or you can't fix anything. I was fine. I could fix whatever. I think I don't like how it came out. As long as it's still wet, you might have a little staining there, but that's okay. I mean, and if not for nothing, it's still a learning experience. So I wasn't thrilled with my roses. I thought they were actually better before. And sometimes I tend to overthink things. But you know what? I'm just going to go with it. And I kind of like them a little darker. I'm just going to put some highlights on it. And cross your fingers. It's going to actually come out pretty good. Alphonse Mucha did his illustrative work of women, but he also put like a very light line around everything. So the whole body, the neck, everything had a line around it, that illustrative style. And that is Art Nouveau style back in his time. And it was quite beautiful. He had quite beautiful artwork. If you want to look him up, Alphonse Mucha. So if you want to find really good reference for your illustrations and your watercolors, you can do a few things. You can go to unsplash.com, is where I get so much of mine. Raw pixels too. You can find copyright free and public domain images there. And also, if you are on the cloud, Adobe Cloud, Adobe Creative Suite, I should say, you can access Firefly, and you have so many points to use to create maybe some sort of AI reference that you can go for. Now, I don't really use AI to create artwork. I use it for reference. So if I need to see, like I'm painting a deer and I can't remember what the hoof looks like, or, something like that. Firefly is amazing to help you. Now, they're not always accurate either, because sometimes, things are a little distorted and not quite right. But for this reference, I asked for a green-eyed, redhead girl with Victorian era Alphonse Mucha style photograph with a girl and flowers in her hair. And it gave me a beautiful reference to go by. Does my photo look like my reference or my image? No, it's different. And so I just use it as a reference. I don't copy anything exactly. The hair is not the same. The face is not the same. But at least because I know how to draw people, I just wanted that reference to help me with my artwork. And that's the beautiful thing about AI right now. So anyways, thank you again for being here. And I would love it if you would like and share and comment nicely down below. I love to hear from people who are watching my videos. And I thank you so much. And I hope everybody has a beautiful year.